Sorry about that, boys and girls. That last video was getting too long, and I stopped it, and it stopped at a really bad spot. I'm going to switch, though, to the math workbook to finish up this lesson. So if you want to hit pause for a second and go grab that, and then you'll just need a pencil and your ruler. I think you're still going to need your ruler. All right, this first one is just like the last one was. And it just talks about what would make more sense for the unit of measure. Okay, she's going to make flashcards. All right. Do you think that she wants them to be 15 square units? Do you think it makes sense to use 15 square centimeters or 15 square inches? And before you even look at your ruler, think about it. A foot, which is not your actual foot, a foot means 12 inches. So let's say 12 inches is about like that, okay? She wants it to be 15 square inches. So if this is 12, 15 is more like this, okay? Do you think something like this is a good shape or size for a flashcard? Or, let's see, now let's get out our ruler. I don't know what I did with mine. I'm going to get a different one. And let's look at 15 centimeters, okay? So 15 centimeters is about this big. Would that be a better size and shape for a flashcard? Thinking it probably would. So really, again, that's just common sense, okay? This big for a flashcard or this big, okay? But you have to be able to think in your mind. Like, don't let your math guy go crazy when you read a question like that and say, oh my gosh, how am I supposed to know? You got to think that through and think, okay, well, what do I know about inches? Remember how I told you for me that sometimes I guess at inches by bending my finger and looking at that flat part? And you guys did it too, and I said, well, my fingers are bigger than yours, remember? But still, if you thought about that being around an inch, okay, that's pretty tiny, and maybe you could think about the width of your finger being about a centimeter. Mine's bigger than a centimeter, but yours might be about a centimeter. You got to really think about which one makes sense, and don't let your math guy go crazy, okay? Okay, so let's look. We're going to do 1, 2, 3, and 4 together, and then I'm hoping you're going to be able to do the other side on your own, okay? All right, what is the area of each figure shown below? Now we have to remember that since they're giving us a unit, we have to put the unit in there for our answer, okay? If you're afraid you're gonna forget that, go ahead and do it right now. Heck, why not? Get your answer in there, okay? Okay, so it says, what is the area of each figure shown below, okay? I'm not gonna look at this entire thing, although I could, but I need to look at the figure there, okay? So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, okay? So I'm not going to multiply all 4, okay? Really, I probably shouldn't have even put these in there because it's already showing them to me. They're just really hard for you to see. Maybe I'll just trace over them. I know you can see them in your book, okay? If I get 6 here, then I'm going to have 6 here if it's exactly the same, and I'm going to have 4 here and 4 here. So I need to count this 4, but not just this 4 and this 6, right? If I was only going to count those, I could just add those together. But I'd like to know about all the rest of it. So I need to know about this 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. So 4 times 6. Or, of course, 6 times 4. So my area is 24 centimeters. Don't forget centimeters, okay? Okay. All right, let's look at number 2. What is the area? Okay. Boys and girls, after a while, you're going to get so good at remembering that area is the length times the width. We can even put a little X in there. Okay, area is length times width. Sometimes you'll see it like this too. just an LW, length times width, okay? Pretty soon you're going to look at this and you're going to say, oh, I can see it. It's like an array. It's 4 times 4. 4 times 4 is 16. But 16 what? 16 inches. And you could do this if you want to. You probably don't have to, but you could if you want to. Okay? All right, let's look at number 3. Is the area of a paperback book cover closer to 28 square inches or 28 square centimeters? Tell how you decided. All right. We got to think about it. All right. Well, in my mind, I'm going to think that a ruler, and in my mind, I can picture a ruler, okay, is 12 inches. 2 rulers would be 24 inches, right? So just for the heck of it, I'm going to get out 2 rulers. This is 24 inches. We're not even talking about 24 inches. We're talking about 28 inches. Do you think that the cover of a book is 28 inches? Hard to say. What about 28 centimeters? Soft cover book. Now, sometimes books are big. You know, we've got this one. It's a big book. Are books usually this big, though, or is this a little bit unusual? If we looked at all of our books, would some of them be this size, or would most of them be this size? Because I'm thinking most of them would be quite a bit smaller, wouldn't you say? So what do you think? 28 square inches or 28 square centimeters? I'm thinking centimeters. So, how did you decide? Let's see, I'm going to write, I thought about how big 28 inches is and decided that was too big. Something about giving some thought to the fact that an inch is quite a bit bigger than a centimeter and that was just too big for your average book. Something that you said like that. Of course, yours doesn't have to be just like mine. You know that. Okay, number 4. Maria wants to draw a painting with an area of 40 square inches. If she drew her painting on 1-inch grid paper, how many squares would she be painting over? Tell how you know. All right. So, let's get ourselves some grid paper. Okay, now I'm going to grab my book so that I can read that question again. Or my iPad, I suppose. Okay. Maria wants to draw a painting with an area of 40 square inches. So the area equals 40 square inches. Okay. How many squares is she going to cover? Okay. Well, boys and girls, for the purposes of our lesson here, remember how sometimes we count this whole thing as a square, and then sometimes we look at that little square inside? Let's count the whole thing as a square. We'll kind of think of it like our Cheez-It, okay? And not that. So we're going to count the whole thing as a square. So basically what we're saying, if you want to get out your Cheez-Its or your paper Cheez-Its or whatever, if you want to figure out what is, how many squares are going to get covered if it's 40 square inches? Okay, it's 1-inch grid paper. This is what 1-inch grid paper would look like. Boys and girls, what do we know about the area? What is area? It's how many units you need to fill or cover something, right? So if something was 2 square units, I would need 2 of these to fill it, right? if something was 6 square units, it might look like that, or it might look like this, right? And it would be 6 of these, right? If it's 6 square units. Okay, well, so it's 6 square units and I covered 6 boxes. So are you starting to see where I'm going with this? How many boxes are going to be covered for something that's 40 square inches? Did you say 40? Let's see, what size could the two sides of our shape be? If the area equals 40, and remember that area equals length times width, what that means is something times something is going to equal 40. What are my choices? Did any of you say 4 and 10? Let's see, it could be 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, by 10. Maybe I better do my 10 this way. That'll work, right? Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It just fits. 1, 2, 3, 4. Is that what some of you said? 10, 20, 30, 40. How many did I cover? I covered 40 boxes. Did any of you say 5 times 8? Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Whoop. I gotta go up one more. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so I'll have 5 here. 5, 10. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. 5. Right? And how many did I cover? I covered 40. So if my area is 40 squares, I've covered 40 squares. So now that we know that, if that ever shows up on an exit ticket or on a test or something, you're going to know that that's a really easy question and it's kind of a gimme. Okay? Okay. I would like you to try working on the practice side. Okay, let me take a look at it. I don't think you're going to have any trouble with it. When you get to number 3 and 4, if you read it once and your math guy says, ooh, we don't know, what are you going to do? You going to tell mom or dad or whoever's there that you don't know? No. You're going to read it again. So read it again, pull it apart, okay? If it's saying something like you have a square, then you know all 4 sides are the same, okay? If it says rectangle, then you know that there's going to be a length and a width. Okay, you know the length is going to be the longer one, the width is going to be the smaller one. Okay, you can do it. Send me any questions that you have, okay? All right, good luck.